MMA, mixed martial arts, a sport that fuses the explosive strikes of boxing and Muay Thai, the relentless grind of wrestling, and the suffocating control of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's not just a fight, it's a chess match where every move will either make you or break you. I'm Daniel Cuttle, a boxer, and recently I've been travelling Asia training Muay Thai, and I dipped my toes into an MMA session. You guys loved it, and so did I, but I didn't want my MMA journey to end there, so I signed up to a new gym in Bali and committed to taking MMA seriously for the next 24 days. To measure my progress, I'll be sparring pros on day 2 and again on day 24. But what happened in between, I didn't see coming. This journey took a turn I wasn't ready for, and it changed the way I saw fighting. Enough talking. Let's answer the question, how far can a boxer with zero MMA experience transform in the next 24 days? So this is the new gym I'm going to be spending the next 24 days training at. But first, I need to cut myself a pair of MMA gloves. I haven't trained in a while, so before getting into sparring tomorrow, I'm going to do an MMA striking session and a jiu-jitsu session later. But first, let's start with my favourite, MMA striking. Starting off with the warm-up. I was put with a professional MMA fighter who's had 6 fights. I learned so much, even some takedowns. And honestly, this fueled my motivation for the next 24 days. Everything I've learned over the past couple years in boxing was coming in very handy in MMA, giving me a great foundation to work from. Now I had one discipline, it was time to collect the rest and make me even more of a capable, dangerous fighter. First session complete, this was honestly so fun. Getting stuck in the deep end once again, training with a pro who's had 6 fights taught me a lot. Later on in the day, it was time for the first jiu-jitsu session. I thought this first jiu-jitsu session was hella sus. Like, I've done it before, but it takes a bit of getting used to. And on top of that, it's extremely hard. But I know how hard martial arts are, so I kept level-headed, dropped my ego, and allow myself to be defeated many times, just so I could learn as much as possible. And this is a big tip when fighting. Never bring your ego to the gym, as this will help out so much. We have our first little bruise, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, just by being kneed. But yeah, nah, it's pretty sick. I got outrolled by every single person, but it's still fun. Day 2. Okay, today, if I'm being honest, I was a little nervous. I wanted to throw myself straight into the deep end with sparring as a benchmark, so I could compare how much I've improved at the end of the challenge. So, I didn't get battered exactly, but it wasn't amazing. Still, I think I held my own very well. My style's quite in and out and bouncy, which I've learnt from boxing, and it's inspired by Bivol. My feints and punches are sick. However, I'm always getting caught with the left leg due to my bladed stance. And grappling, I'm not that great at. My southpaw once again came in very handy. If you haven't seen, I've trained southpaw for 21 days, mainly boxing, and it's been an absolutely transferable skill to all these martial arts I've been training. So if you're thinking about learning southpaw, it's definitely worth doing, as it's another tool to your arsenal. Anyway, today I survived and I sparred pretty light, which my opponents understood, so I could get a feel for MMA and its differences. And honestly, I quite like the realness of MMA, as there's a lot more to think about. But with a decent foundation, it was time to hone in on my skills. I'm ready for the first session of sparring. That was so fun. So, I really am the newbie in the gym. And one thing I'll begin to notice when training MMA, a lot of these guys were a higher level than me and they didn't really want to train with me. I was struggling to find a partner, but luckily this guy helped me out. He was a very patient teacher and was helping me learn all the basics, so shout out to this guy. Honestly, the first 30 minutes of this session was sick, but near the end, I started getting a little bored, but I pushed through regardless. One thing I love about fighting is you feel like the man after every single session, I promise you, as you get a natural dopamine rush and primal instinct. And this raises your testosterone level, your adrenaline, and you feel the difference after it. And whilst training MMA, I also feel a lot more in control of my life. So I recommend getting into some martial arts if you want to take back control of your life. I'm not gonna lie, after this session I realised I kind of enjoy wrestling, and boxing paired with wrestling are the main disciplines you need to be a good MMA fighter. So as I've been travelling Asia, I've been doing a lot of Muay Thai and a little bit of MMA on the side. But recently I've kind of neglected boxing altogether. So today I wanted to go boxing sparring to see how it's affected my boxing. It's good to know I've still got it, and if anything, my skills have got even better. And my understanding of fighting, distance, reflexes, everything had just seemed to have got a little sharper. So I'm super happy with this. However, even though I love MMA, Muay Thai, I still know deep down boxing is my favourite. Day 4, my body was already feeling it, and I had to take some rest from the morning session and just recover. But this was good, as I know anytime my body is forcing me to recover, it means I'm putting in the work. But today was one of those days where I just really couldn't be arsed. But these are in fact the best days of training, I feel like, as the high you get after defeating the lazy, weak part of your brain is beautiful. So I'm going for a back-to-back Muay Thai and MMA grappling session. Session 1, we went through some beginner Muay Thai combos, then moved these combos onto the pad, and my form and power was looking great. We finished off the session with some teeps and conditioning before moving on to the jiu-jitsu session. And honestly, it was worth showing up for both. I learned loads in these sessions, and I would have missed out if I'd let myself slack. Plus, I had a lot of fun. Both times I got partnered with a girl, so I think they're trying to tell me something. So yeah, up until this point, things were going suspiciously well. I was sharp, focused, and feeling like I was leveling up fast. But day 5 hit me like a jab I didn't see coming. I'm not sure if it was burnout, Barley's heat, or just life catching up to me. I woke up with a headache, no energy, and for the first time, I just cracked. I ended up eating some junk food and got myself an ice cream and just rotted in bed all day. Which, it doesn't seem that deep, but this one moment shifted everything. I wish I could say the next day I bounced back like a hero in a movie, but that just wasn't the case. From here on, it became a downward spiral. The discipline and the motivation I had at the start of this challenge was slipping. I got distracted filming other videos like this Krav Maga one. The gym was also shut for the Barley's Day of Silence on the day I wanted to return, and things just weren't going my way. And the main goal of my 24-day MMA transformation was fading. 2 weeks in, and I decided enough was enough, and it was time to pull myself back together. However, for some reason, I felt a little nervous and I actually wasn't that motivated. But I still showed up to the gym anyway. And this time I had a new training partner who was bigger, stronger, and matched my level. And once again, after this first session back, everything changed. I was pumped. And this story always repeats itself. The days that I don't want to show up, but I do, they're always the ones that turned me into a beast. That's when I knew we were back. Yeah. 24 days ago, I was just a boxer trying to survive MMA. No ground game, no cardio, and no clue what I was truly in for. I got humbled, distracted, and I almost quit. But it's really not about being perfect. It's about showing up. And no matter how many excuses I can make, I'll always come back. I'm still not a pro, but I'm sharper, stronger, and it's not just my hands that can fight now. But more than anything, I proved to myself that I can finish what I start. So